on our news highlights. But moving on to our next segment, which is a discussion segment. Tonight we're talking about fear in relationships. How do we manage these fears? What should we tell? What should we not tell to our partners is what you're talking about tonight. And share your comment and view to the number 22162, starting with the word Y News. You can also tweet us at Y254 channel, hashtag Y254 News. And my first question to my guest is, every person has their own insecurities and every person has their own flaws. So Lindsay, for you, what is your greatest fear in relationships?
My greatest fear is abandonment. I don't want to involve myself in a relationship and then you leave me for another person. The other fear is, I'm a girl. I know that maybe you got attracted to me because of how I look. So I'm also afraid you're going to go out there and meet someone who's better than me.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm afraid of heartbreaks, really, because, you know, it's a relationship is like a partnership. And imagine you're used to being with this person, then all of a sudden this breaks and you're so used to this person. Yeah, so those are actually my two main fears in a relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
Eugene, as the man in the relationship, what is your greatest fear?
Okay, my greatest fear in relationship, I don't expect me dating a girl, then I imagine that I'm not worth for her, or I'm not good for her. You see, that one will kill it will kill my esteem. I can't take it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my fear.
Okay.
Only that.
Lindsay, you've said that feeling like someone is abandoning you. You've said about you want to feel that someone cares. So how do you deal with these fears to make sure that they don't interrupt or they don't maybe cause any damage to your relationship? How do you deal with fear?
First of all, getting into a relationship, I am very slow. I must make sure that I know this person very well. We are friends. And then I'm able to know the flaws. Like, how is this person? Are we going to get some, are we always on loggerheads or something? So that's one thing. Before I make a decision of settling down with someone, I have to really make sure that I've known this person to a capacity that I'm risking, but not quite. We can go somewhere, or maybe we can be together for quite a longer time. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one step. That's one thing I do to actually guard my heart.
Well, what about you, Eugene? What do you do to make sure? Because it's very true, the fear of not being good enough for someone because you're scared that maybe the next minute they meet someone who probably does not have the type of flaws that you have. And there may be chances whereby this person may feel so attracted or comfortable with this other person. So how do you deal with the fear of not feeling that you're good enough for your partner?
See, this is why it's important for us boys. We are told to share our stories. We need to share stories. You see, like you can, like for example, me and you, I can come to you with my problem. I share with you. You'll encourage me. You see. Rather than just keeping quiet with it, it will kill you and you alone.
But most men prefer to keep their own stories to themselves because they don't want to admit to their weaknesses.
Just a small percentage. That's why we are. That's why I would encourage some boys or young teenage men like me, at least to share their stories, to open up their hearts and share their stories with others. At least they can get an encouragement
from the partner. Okay. So now, speaking about opening up to your partner, talking about sharing your experiences, your weaknesses to your partner, how much, Lindsay, should we tell our partners? How much? Should we be open like 100%, or should we have other things that we keep to ourselves and make sure that they don't know? Okay. And what things are those? What type of things should we not tell, and what can we tell?
Okay. One thing I've realized, there's some things you can tell your partner, your male partner, and you're thinking you're being honest and saving a relationship, but this person ends up judging you. For example, if I tell my partner that, you know what, I've actually had relationships before with 50-year-olds. I used to love money. In as much as you're admitting that, I changed, this person is still going to form an opinion about you. So to what extent do you actually open up to your partner? One thing I'd say is there's some things that you need. Dialogue is important in any relationship. and it solves things. For example, honesty. In any relationship, we need to be very honest to your partner. But again, don't tell him everything like those ones. You know, there's some things even your instincts will tell you. If I tell, for example, my colleague here, Eugene, that before I met you, I was like this and this and this. In fact, you're actually instilling fear, and he'll treat me differently. He'll even be scared to go. You know, he will be like, if I expose this lady maybe to old men or people with money, he might actually run away. Yeah.
But now, Eugene, for you, we always told sometimes you can tell a lie if the lie is not going to hurt someone. And when a lie is going to hurt someone, then that is not right at all. So how do you make sure that you really know how to filter what to tell and what not to tell? Because we all have a future whereby something might just find you in your future, and maybe you thought your partner will never get to know. So how do we filter and know what to tell and what not to tell?
You see, that's why it's important. For how to filter what you need to tell, first you need to realize, well, what am I going to gain from this lie I want to give this girl? You see, before you tell a lie. And as she said, you don't have to expose everything all your life to a partner. You see, there's some things you need not to tell, because yes, they are true. You have experienced them, but if you just uncover everything all your life to her, I bet you'll stay alone.
So now, if we do this, someone will ask, if we do this, where is trust? How do we build trust? Where is the honesty? Where is the togetherness in the relationship? And we'll break in these values that we know we're supposed to have while we are talking to someone, or while we are dating someone or getting to know someone, and to break in such values. Lindsay?
To start with, to what extent do you open up to someone, for example, and to what extent do you become this honest or this truthful to someone? It all depends with how serious this relationship is.
Okay.
You know, sometimes we all have definitions of love. You know, I would think love is this and this and this and this, and this other person would think love is this and this. But is this love going somewhere? For example, if it's someone I see a future with, like this is going to be maybe my potential husband, then there's need to open up, because these things will catch up with you.
It's true.
In front. But sometimes you check that some of these things that we call love, it's not actually love. It's just there because of the mutual benefit. Give me this, give me that. Then I cannot open up to you, because if I open up to you, I will lose you. You know, I will lose you. So I'd rather confine myself. And the good thing, we have signs of knowing a serious partner. You know, for example, there's something as small as when you're broke.
Okay.
For example, did that person stick by you? Yes. And did that person support you? There's this niche that goes around that women should not give men money. But if this woman was there when you didn't have anything, then be sure that this person will be with you even when you proceed. So these are some of the people you open up. For example, if you had a previous relationship and you had a child somewhere, this is someone you will tell because you see a future with this person.
Okay. We have, when you meet someone, you don't like everything about that person. How now do we get to deal with habits that we don't like about our partners, and make sure that we don't offend them or make them feel any less important to us? Eugene?
The first thing you need to do in regard with the point of opening up yourself to a partner, you need to sit with this girl, discuss before even you go for an extra mile with her. You need to sit with her, tell her, this is what I want us to do, or this is what or this is what I expect. This is the fruits I expect from this relationship. So you need to explain to her what do you want her, how do you want her to behave while you are in relationship. You see, doing that way, you'll get to understand her.
Okay.
When you understand her, you'll watch her character, and you'll decide what to do to make your relationship grow, at least.
Okay. I can see Lindsay is differing with that.
I beg to differ. There is no way you're going to come into my life to define me and to make me be the way you want. Because one thing I believe in is that in a relationship, my character is static. It's not static, sorry. I am going to change. I'm going to have opinions, and opinions will change. So the way you met me is not how I'll be 2 years to come
Down the line.
down the line. So the thing is, if you come and if you expect me to be this, so then there's a lot you'll be changing as we go ahead.
Okay.
So what I'd say is, love is not looking for change or not changing someone or looking for someone who's changed. Not really. So it comes from within. The change should come from within. I should be able to know that, I think I need to change and be different. It should come from me, not from what Eugene
is saying.
But
says
then-
I be.
But then, yes, you'll change. You'll change to be a good or a bad person, maybe. But what if you'll change to the person I don't want you to change to? So you see, I must tell you, I want this from you. I want you to change from this to this.
But is it possible to make someone be something they don't? You may want something from someone. What if now your girlfriend or the boyfriend is not willing to be what you want them to be? How do you do?
That's
How
what
do you
I'm
deal with
saying.
it?
That's why I'm saying we need there's need of dialogue in a relationship. For your case, you will sit with your girl, then you discuss. You will tell her why you want this fact to change from one point to another. You see, but then she can answer you. You see, there you'll have to agree. At the end of the day, you will have to agree. That's the meaningful of the meaning of a dialogue. You see.
So, how much should you change for a partner? Maybe you date someone, they like eating pork. You don't like eating pork. How much should you go to make sure that your partner is comfortable with you? How far should we go?
First, I would say, when you enter into a relationship with someone, you don't expect to change everything. It depends what do you want this girl to change to, or what behaviors do you want her to have in a relationship.
Okay.
You see, in that way, maybe in that example of yours, you are taking pork. I don't take.
How do we deal with that?
Then it depends. Will this pork will it cause harm in this relationship? If it will cause harm, I'll tell you, my friend will change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lindsay,
But if it won't bring harm in a relationship, then we'll go on with it.
Okay.
Like
Lindsay.
for instance, my girlfriend takes, maybe drinks alcohol. I don't. Are you going to stay in that relationship? Or are you not going to tell her to stop taking alcohol?
What as in, to what extent? What
That's why I told you.
What's the line? What's the line are we drawing in this change thing?
That's why I told you.
When
There are
we
some
speak
things.
of change, there's way too much. When it comes to change, there's way too much. Because you're falling in love, or you're finding a different personality from the one that you have.
That's why I told you. It depends what is it you want her to change to. Like there are some just harmful ways. You'll expect her to change completely to change. But there are some others. You'll cope up with it as it changes slowly, and you cope up with life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay, now we've talked about change. We've talked about how much, where do we get to draw the line? But now the question is, you've talked to your partner about some certain habits that maybe you don't like about them. You've talked to your partner, you've had the conversations, and you realize that your partner maybe, you need them to change and behave in a certain way. If they don't really give in to when you have that conversation, should you wait or should you leave because you feel this person is not fitting on your criteria?
I discourage leaving. Reason being, some of these changes that we want to make to our partners, they come from within. For example, like me, you cannot just ask me to stop dressing in a certain way. It has to come from me. Dressing this way is doing this and this to me. So before you even start telling me to stop this, give me some, tell me, now when you dress like, just talk to me, give me facts, illustrate to me, and then let me make my own decision. 2, there are people who are hard-headed. For example, if I'm used to dressing this way, and you want to tell me, and you want me to dress in a dera, for example, and maybe for you, you know, there's so many things that would determine a partner telling you that. Probably it's the culture. For example, the person's culture
is different, and they're
from my
expected
culture.
to live in a certain way.
That is something I respect, and you cannot change. And me, I've refused to change from that. I don't want to dress in a dera because I'm an uptown chic, and I believe that dress code has nothing to do with love. So for example, with that, you have to leave the person because these are things that will actually be leading to a lot of disagreement, you know, and that one is not healthy for that relationship. If each time we'll be quarreling about something I can't change, I'm not willing to change, and I don't see any problem with, then move. Yes.
Okay, Eugene, what are your thoughts on that?
You see, if you say you leave the relationship just because of a dress code, I think you are losing a point. You see, we have some dress codes. Yeah, they're just embarrassing. You can't even walk with your chick on a street, just because the way she's dressed up. You see, things like that, those ones, just to avoid embarrassment, we just need to adhere to the rules and change. Okay. It's not something to discuss on.
My question to you, Eugene, is this: what is the proper dress code? Because don't you have people who are actually condoning that dress code? You see, your opinion should not be the way the relationship is, and that's why we have dominating relationship. Because to you, you think wearing this is wrong, but for me, I feel that no, this one is this way. And that's why we dominate.
Such disagreements are the ones really make relationships probably come to an end. But before we get to that discussion, we're going to be taking a very short break on Y254 News. But don't go far away. We'll be right back.